All right, so welcome. Thank you, everyone, for logging in. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and get started. It's time. So, welcome. Thank you for joining Breathwork 614's Breathworker Life Coach Certification Series, Healing the Imprints of Separated at Birth. This session explores how the imprints of early moments of separation can shape the way we attach, we love, we seek connection throughout our life. And today we'll soften the old imprints that create a destructive belief system of not enough and gently return to the truth that love has always lived within you. So, once again, if you're on Facebook, just follow that link there and join us on Zoom. That's where you'll be able to see the presentation. So, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Tiffany Berger. I am a trauma-informed breathwork facilitator and a breathworker life coach. I am also the founder of Breathwork 614. It is my mission to enhance the quality of life through the power of the breath, of breathwork, and also by creating safe, trauma-informed spaces for healing and lasting transformation. So I teach clients and students how to heal through breath using conscious breathing to release the impact of stress and trauma, thereby regulating the nervous system. Personally, I have healed and received transformation from experiencing weekly migraines, from experiencing allergies, TMJ, chronic tension and tightness just in my neck and in my shoulders, and then also destructive beliefs about my worth and my value. Myself and my clients, we all share that we experience a depth of self acceptance and ease that was not present prior to engaging in breath work. So also a deepening in one's spirituality, it naturally occurs when we're on a breathwork journey because breath is life force energy. And every time you're inhaling, you're bringing in that life force energy into your system. So, as one takes in more of this energy, expansion in their spiritual relationship, and a trusting of life, it just naturally occurs and is experienced. So, in my client based services in my certification programs, I include a holistic approach. Breathwork not only pours into your spiritual state of being, it positively influences your physical, your emotional, and your mental. Integrating breathwork, mindfulness, and somatic or body based practices, they nurture both the mind and the body. So, this is a mind body connection modality. This helps individuals move beyond feeling stuck and release past wounds. And this is where integration lies. So, some of my most favorite aspects about my profession are empowering individuals, coaching clients, and training students to become confident, heart centered breathwork facilitators and coaches through my certification programs. And my focus on wellness, it really helps clients cultivate a mindset for well being to achieve a sense of calm and then also empowerment and self love. So, in addition to my paid services, I offer community and accessibility through free breathwork community sessions. I really try to make breathwork accessible to a wider audience at different moments throughout the year. And I really enjoy collaborating with interns and other organizations to empower young minds and build a stronger well being community. Everybody deserves to feel well, it is your birthright. So, in this third part of our Breathworker Life Coach Certification series, we will explore one of the most powerful and often overlooked origins of our inner narrative, the early moment of separation occurring at birth. And for many, this first experience of disconnection, it becomes an unconscious blueprint leading to feelings of unworthiness, codependency, or the belief that love exists outside of us. Without realizing it, we may carry destructive imprints that create lasting feelings of anxiety. So, separated at birth, it is a PTSD event. In fact, did you know that each time a child moves, that is experience that experience it creates separation anxiety and it leads to PTSD, a post-traumatic stress disorder. So on the screen here, you can see a quote, and I just love this quote. This is by Dr. Leah Lagos. So she's a licensed clinical and performance psychologist. She's based in New York City, internationally recognized for her pioneering work in heart rate variability, HRV, you might be familiar with that, biofeedback, and mind-body connection. So she works with elite performers from athletes all the way to CEOs to creatives and high pressure professionals. She teaches scientifically backed tools to reduce anxiety, to build resilience, to optimize performance, and to enhance emotional and psychological well being. So her quote says, especially for those of you that are on Facebook, her quote says, "Your nervous system will always choose familiar over fulfilling. Transformation happens when you teach it that safety can exist in new experiences." And so we repeat what we learned early on because the nervous system confuses familiarity with safety. So changing your life means offering your body new experience of safety. And that's actually from Deb Dana, a licensed social worker. She's the author and international speaker who specializes in complex trauma. She's one of the leading translators or speakers of polyvagal theory for clinical practitioners. So healing, it won't come from chasing what feels comfortable. It comes from gently retraining the nervous system to trust what was once unfamiliar or what was once felt unfamiliar. This means learning how to expand your capacity to receive and experience unfamiliar experiences. Um, Healing, and I love this because the breath just naturally does this. So our patterns, they aren't proof of who we are. They're proof of what our nervous system learned to survive. The blessing is that we get to consciously teach it something new, and it can be changed because of neuroplasticity. So our brains have neuroplasticity, our nervous system, we can transform it as well. We're never stuck. So as you can see, the nervous system isn't drawn to what is good for us. It's drawn to what is familiar. Healing begins the moment we choose something unfamiliar, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. So if this is your first time in this session or your first time experiencing breath work, know that it is normal for this to feel a little uncomfortable at first because it's unfamiliar, it's new. So we will work today to repattern these early imprints by bringing loving awareness to them, by releasing cellular memories of rejection and integrating affirmations that restore belonging, connection, and worthiness. So today you will get a glimpse of what's possible for yourself and also the community you serve. All right. So in previous sessions, so this is the third part of this series. So in the other two sessions, you learned about imprinting from Garber-Monte. We talked about nervous system transfer, how our nervous systems come from our mothers. And we also talked about how a woman's cellular life, it begins in her grandmother. So when your grandmother was pregnant with your mom, that is if you are a female, when your grandmother is pregnant with your mom's eggs began to form at just 5 months gestation. So therefore, if you are a female and you were formed in your mother when she was just 5 months gestation, you were just a tiny egg in your mother's ovaries. You were not only experiencing what mother experienced, but you were experiencing what grandmother experienced as well. So, therefore, any emotions grandma experienced, any thoughts that release specific hormones, neurochemicals, neurotransmitters, your mom experienced that and you did as well. So as you can see, this certification, it also infuses the opportunity to heal generational trauma. So this video here that I want to display for this series, this is by Dr. Amy Abajian. I mean, it's filled with valuable information, but because we don't have all the time to watch it, I'm going to kind of skip around a little bit here just for this session, just to highlight a few pieces. But I highly recommend you watching the whole thing. You're going to get a replay here today. So you can always pause it here, write down this title. This is found on YouTube. So know that you have access to this as well. So before we begin this video, allow me just to provide a quick bio about Dr. Amy Abajian. So she's a double board certified physician in preventative and addiction medicine. She has a master's degree in biochemistry and public health. She's widely recognized by developing the biology of trauma excuse me, that's a holistic integrative model that bridges functional medicine, neurobiology, and also somatic trauma therapies, aiming to address how trauma is stored in the body at a cellular and nervous system level. So you can already tell that I really have to kind of skip around here. So give me 1 second.
You tell us about that.
Yeah, and I'm so glad you're asking about this, Emma, because as I went through my medical training and even then started on my own process with therapy and, trying to work on stuff, it was still always this idea that trauma is in the brain, and trauma is something that your brain responds to and is your psychology. But as I was working with people, and I even started noticing more of the patients that I was working with in the hospital, and I started to realize no, there's actually more to this. And I'm seeing that trauma is becoming their biology, which then becomes their symptoms, their health conditions, and even their diagnoses. So what happened to me, I ignored my body long enough that it actually became significant enough that I couldn't get out of bed for a couple months. And so realizing that there is this element that the body has a trauma response. And when we understand that the body has a trauma response, then we see that that's actually where trauma gets stored, and the body will continue to go into a trauma response, so that we're no longer looking at a past event for trauma. We're looking at, is my body going into a trauma response on a daily basis right now in the present moment? And that's really what I look for when I see, does someone have stored trauma in their body? Is I'm looking for, what are the patterns that I see? Do I see your body going into that trauma response on a regular basis and even developing what I call this biology of trauma that then will become your health illnesses and conditions and diagnoses?
Yeah, I think that's so important to understand, because I think when people do think of trauma as being just in your brain or in your mind, they think the only treatment is thought-based work, right? Oh, you just need to change how you think about that and you'll be fine, right?
That's what I was told.
Yeah, and that's kind of how, which is strange in the medical community.
I know, right?
That a body-based treatment is not at the top of mind when it comes to treating trauma. And the ACEs study, I'm sure you're familiar with the ACEs study, but groundbreaking research showed how people who experienced multiple traumatic or stressful events as children have a lot more likelihood of developing physical illnesses like high blood pressure, diabetes, autoimmune disorders, or other chronic illnesses, right?
And you want to tell me that that's just because they need to fix their thoughts.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense, right?
It doesn't make any sense. And so being able to understand now, no, there's an actual mechanism that we can understand. It doesn't actually need to be confusing or this mystery of how trauma becomes our health conditions. We can understand this now, and the keys are all in what we call the autonomic nervous system part of the body. So we have the central nervous system, which is the brain, and that's where all the focus has been for trauma, which is where we then develop the cognitive behavioral therapies. And Emma, I will just say that even in my medical school training, which was very holistic compared to medical school trainings, and then even as I am in the sphere of, let's be trauma-informed healthcare practitioners, still the idea of being trauma-informed was, let's refer our patients to therapy and to go talk to a therapist. And this is in the medical field, Emma. And so here we are, physicians who have always been known, even as, early as Hippocrates, is working with the body. And yet somehow we've lost that element. And that's, I think, the element that we need to bring back, is that actually there is this whole biology component to trauma. And that needs to be addressed just as much as therapies and whatever therapies that a person does. I tend to focus on body-based therapies, so somatic work or internal family systems, and actually working with how that's showing up in the body. But when we bring in the biology piece, whatever modalities we're working on for the actual therapy, it's we can accelerate that process because we're facilitating how the trauma has changed our biology. And so now, Emma, how that biology keeps us stuck in that trauma response.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So tell us about the trauma response for a minute. You're talking about the autonomic nervous system. What is going on with that trauma response?
Yeah. And I'm going to try to talk as much as possible so that you don't wear out your voice. With your
Thank you. Appreciate that. You'll do all the heavy lifting today.
So with the autonomic nervous system, and again, there are different branches of our nervous system. This is something that I learned in anatomy, never knowing that I would need to apply this to trauma work. And so we have the central nervous system, which is our brain and that spinal cord, brainstem, spinal cord. And then we have these nerves that go out into our body from there. And they come out, we have these cranial nerves, they come out from our brainstem. And the vagus nerve in particular is one that comes out from that brainstem, and it goes to control our heart, it controls our lungs, it controls our diaphragm, and so our breathing, and then it kind of spreads out into our digestive system and controls our digestive system. And these are all things that happen automatically. They are things that we don't have to think about, we don't have to control. We can just live our life and know that our kidneys are filtering our blood and creating urine, right? And then we just need to go pee when we need to pee. We don't have to think about that process. And so that's partly why it's called the autonomic nervous system, is that all these functions of keeping us alive happen automatically. But Emma, there's this whole deeper component with this autonomic nervous system, which is that it's not only telling our body to stay alive, but it's telling it how to stay alive. Meaning not just telling our heart to beat, but it's telling it how fast to beat or how slow to beat. It's telling our lungs, how fast do I need to breathe right now? Or we're going to shut down and we're going to just try to not breathe so that the monster doesn't even see us or hear us breathing. And so there's all these elements of the autonomic nervous system that actually guide how our body is being told how to live life. And in that process, it is where the trauma gets stored. And so when the trauma response happens, it actually happens through a very sequential process. And it always starts with a startle response. And so if you think of, if you've been watching a squirrel or a chipmunk out in nature, right? And it'll be chomping on a nut, and then all of a sudden it'll perk up and be like, oh, I heard a noise, right? That's our version of a startle response of, I heard something or I see something. And it just kind of brings my awareness to there might be a danger. And we're going to start hyper-focusing our attention on that so that I can assess that danger. And then if it is a danger, we go into the stress response. And with the stress response, we get adrenaline, we get cortisol a few minutes later, but we get that initial rush of adrenaline, which actually gives us superhuman strength. And so this is where the firefighter will be able to do an amazing rescue of someone. And he's never been able to do that while he's been working out or exercising. Or the mom will be able to lift a car off of her child. Has she ever been able to lift a car? No. Will she ever be able to lift a car again? No. But in that moment, the adrenaline actually moves us to action. And that would be the important thing for people to know about the stress response, is that it moves us to action. And the moment that we stop taking action, the moment that it's called thwarted movement. And there are different reasons for that. There's two real reasons for us not taking action. And that would be something that feels like it's happening too much, too fast, or we've had too little of something for too long. And our body's just like, I can't do this anymore. I'm done. And we stop taking action in that moment, even though we have all this adrenaline that's telling us to move, do something, solve this problem, conquer this problem, climb this mountain. And we're like, no. And we stop taking action. That's the moment where our body goes into this trauma response. And it shifts from being a sympathetic control, which if you know your anatomy, you know that the sympathetic nerve chain runs along your spine. And so out of those nerve cells, it sends all these messages of go, 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 go. And then all of a sudden, and this happens in a split of a second, where your body senses that I don't think I can make this. I don't think I'm big enough. I don't think I'm strong enough. I don't think I'm smart enough. I don't think that for whatever reason, I have enough to face this problem. And what it does is that it goes into this trauma response. And the trauma response is communicated through the vagus nerve. And there are two different things that the vagus nerve communicates. One would be the ventral vagus nerve, which communicates our social engagement.
I'm actually going to stop there. Like I said, you can watch the rest of this. You'll get a replay and then you'll see the title here. And you can always look at this on YouTube there. But what I want to highlight is the way in which we are designed. Our biology keeps us stuck in a trauma response. And many people are unaware that they are walking around with such responses while attempting to create a life in which only leaves them feeling stuck. So it's no wonder the nervous system is attracted to familiarity or the past. So when it's running the show, one is going to feel stuck, or as if it's Groundhog's Day, repeating the same day, day after day, year after year. So did you know, or did you hear rather, how Dr. Amy defines trauma? So she defined trauma as too much too fast or too little for too long. Stress moves us into action, but trauma shifts us into a thwarted action. So there's a blocking leading to frustration, to avoidance or aggression. A shutdown takes place within the body's system. The breathing, the heart rate, metabolism, illness begins to occur. Chronic inflammation, it will spread throughout the body. So we must get into the body and really include it in the healing and transformation process. And that's why I love breathwork, because it is the body. It is the quickest way to transform your nervous system, because it's connected to the nervous system, as you heard here. So Dr. Amy, she also references IFS or parts work. This Breathwork Life Coach Certification program, it does include learning how to support yourself and the community you serve in parts work or inner child work. So that's because we're all meaning makers. And in the womb and as a child, you were making meaning of every experience you encountered. Babies have what we call pre-verbal thought. They're still thinking, right? Even though they can't speak. So through parts work, you will observe the destructive meanings you made of the trauma that you experienced, and then learn how to create new meaning to support you in creating a life, not only that you desire, but you deserve. All right. So separated at birth can happen for various reasons. It can be due to medical or physical reasons, such as medical complications at delivery, whether it's an emergency surgery or a C-section. It can be due to premature birth, low birth weight, or even breathing issues. You also could consider some maternal health factors, like the mother being under anesthesia or sedation or severe exhaustion. Medical distress could take place, or an inability to hold the baby immediately. You also have to take into effect systemic or institutional factors, such as adoption or foster placement, hospital protocols, outdated practices, such as routine separation occurring. That's been common for decades, especially started in the 1950s all the way to the 1990s, before skin-to-skin care even became recognized. I know that I have 3 children. With my first 2, they were taken out of the room and they were taken to the nursery. And, first time mom had no idea, thought that was just okay. Like, they're telling me that they're going to do that. Okay. But by the time I had my 3rd child, protocol had changed and they wanted to keep baby in the room with me. So that was cool to see that change. But that happened. I mean, my 3rd child was born in 2018 and my middle child was 2016. So between 2016 and 2018 is when I experienced the shift. But every hospital is different. Every region of the world is different as well. So here you can see I have listed before you common patterns among those that were separated at birth. So this imprint includes beliefs such as, I have to be alone and separate in order to survive. They don't want me. I must have done something wrong. I must be worthless. I can't get what I want. And sometimes it's I can't get what I want when I want it even. My needs will never be met. Love is outside of me and I can't get it. And then I am terrified. So these patterns, they don't mean something is wrong with us. They simply are early survival stories that just never got updated. And that's what I will tell my clients. These are survival stories that did not get updated. They were before you were consciously creating life. The breathwork journey is all about consciously creating life. So creating life with awareness and intention. Um, so individuals carrying this imprint, they may unconsciously express or experience the following. One would be rejection. So relationships can trigger old feelings of being unwanted or forgotten, even when current circumstances they don't match. They might experience chronic feelings of not enough or not enoughness, is what I say. They may internalize the idea that something is inherently wrong, that they're unlovable or they're unworthy. They experience difficulty trusting that their needs will be met. So this can show up as self-reliance, like over giving or not asking for support because it feels pointless or they're vulnerable. They don't feel safe being vulnerable. Excuse me. They also experience a belief that love is out there, as I said, outside of them and not within. They may constantly seek validation or love from external sources, never really feeling quite filled or secure. Um, they also might feel a subtle sense of terror or anxiety without a clear source, not sure why they feel that anxiety. So the body remembers the early rupture, creating a baseline of fear, of hypervigilance, or even restlessness. So when this is brought into awareness through breath work, these subconscious programs, they begin to dissolve, allowing new neural and energetic pathways of safety, of worthiness, and of belonging to form. And personally, working through my own birth imprints and patterning, it's really supported me in experiencing a loving and accepting self relationship, um, a meaningful relationship with others, of course. I experienced less planning. I tended to be an over planner. If you listen to last session, you'll find out why. If you didn't listen to last session, email me, let me know. I can get you that recording there. But now I am more willing to go with the flow. And I would say my favorite from that is synchronicities. So receiving those like God moments where there's no explanation of things just working out better than I could have imagined. And that's what happens when we change, when we shift the belief that we have about ourselves and we shift these subconscious programmings, we create a new identity and we create life from that identity, thus getting different results. So to support healing, hi, if you guys are on Facebook, go ahead and jump over on to the Zoom here. The link is in that picture. I'd love for you guys to join the presentation and the free breathwork session here on Zoom. All right, guys. So to support the healing of separated at birth imprint, there are affirmations or new thought patterns for integration, as you can see here. So these affirmations, they help restore the embodied truth of belonging and of enoughness. So I'm going to read through them now. It says, I am one with God. My needs are always met. I am a wanted and valued human being. People want to be with me. Love is within me, and I share this love with others. I am fearless. I forgive everyone at birth for separating me from my mother. And the more I let myself be joined with others and love, the more alive I am. And then lastly, I am enough. Okay. So hopefully just me reading these over you and you reading them for yourself, hopefully you just created this sense of just like down regulation, just a sense of like calm within you. To further encourage integration, I invite you to choose an affirmation for yourself. Even if you don't know your birth script, your birth story, even if you don't know that you were separated at birth, go ahead and choose a thought pattern for yourself so that we can use that as you breathe today. And then I would recommend that you journal that outside of our time together. I want to also let you know if I have said this in previous sessions, but the thought pattern that you choose, you want it to feel in resonance with you. You want to feel like it's relatable, not something that's so far distant that you can't reach. So the word willing is a nice bridge. I'm willing to I'm willing to observe that my needs are always met, or I'm willing to take steps in being fearless. Okay. So I invite you right now, go ahead and record the affirmation that feels most aligned with you, even if you didn't experience this imprinting. Um, and that'll further support you outside of our time here together. I'm actually going to get up from my computer for one quick moment. I have a geriatric dog and he wants outside right now, and I don't want him potting in my house. So take a moment, write down that affirmation, and I promise you I will be right back. Thank you. Okay, thank you guys. Sorry about that. Here he is. This is Teddy. He did not want to stay out there long because it's snowing out there now. So I apologize, but thank you so much. Much better help him feel relieved. So hopefully you got that affirmation that's going to support you here as you breathe tonight. I'll circle through saying a few of these as you breathe today and experience that integration. All right. So through conscious connected breathing, loving awareness, and affirmation, we get to transform the separated at birth or that anxious imprinting into an embodied knowing of belonging. So this session, it really is a reclamation of the self, an invitation to come home to the truth that you are enough and that love lives within. So if you haven't already, I invite you to create a relaxing and a restorative posture for yourself and an environment that really supports you in your breathe. So at this point in the session, if you have your cameras off, you'll go ahead and turn that on. That'll best support me in facilitating your session. And then if you are laying down, you're going to want to have a pillow underneath your head, your neck, and your shoulders. It can feel nice to have a pillow underneath the backs of your knees as well. If you're choosing to stay in a seated position, I just recommend that you sit with your head, neck, and shoulders in alignment to your with your hips. Um, so going ahead and turning your cameras on now and getting yourself comfortable. It can feel nice to have a blanket too. Um, and then having water close by can always feel supportive. Sometimes our mouth gets dry when we move into that open mouth breathing pattern there. And so as you set yourself up for relaxation, I am going to go ahead and turn on the music. And once again, if you're on Facebook and want to join us over on Zoom, please come on over. This is the fun, restorative portion of our time together today where we get to experience breath work. Okay, thank you for turning your cameras on. Here we go. Okay, so be able to hear the music about now. I'm going to turn the volume up just a little bit. Nothing too loud because I don't want it to drown out my sideways. There we go. So now getting yourself situated so that you can breathe. When you're ready, I just invite you, close your eyes or stare at a fixed point in the room. And go to place one hand slightly above your belly button and then place the other hand on your chest. And as you do so, as you take your first inhale, go ahead and allow your belly to expand with breath. Every inhalation, your belly will extend with breath. We want our breath to actually start in our diaphragm. A lot of times we're chest breathing, we skip right over that diaphragm, but it is the first part of our breath that we should be engaging. And after you inhale and that belly gets nice and big, go ahead and draw the breath up into your chest. So here you're experiencing some expansion. So you're going to notice the expansion taking place in your stomach first, and then you'll notice expansion taking place next in your chest. As you inhale through your nose and exhale through your nose. And right now, as you just come to the beginning of your practice, go ahead and just take a mindful moment and let's explore your states of being. So notice how your body's feeling physically right here, right now. Notice any areas of tightness, tension. Notice any parts of your body that's holding on to activation. And then also take some cycles of breath to notice what feels good in your body. Then I invite you to explore your emotional state of being. So notice what emotions you're experiencing right here, right now, today. You might even take a moment to notice what emotions you've experienced throughout the day. Then I invite you to observe your mental state of being. So notice your thoughts. What thoughts are you having right here, right now? And then are those thoughts in the present? Are those thoughts more directed towards the past? Or are they directed towards the future? And then last but not least, we talked about how breath work pours into your state of spirituality. So I just invite you to observe your state of spirituality right here, right now. And if you had to give a number to your stress, what would you rate your stress level? 10 being like the most stressed, maybe a full-blown panic attack. 1 being like most serene, most peaceful, most calm. And this is just for you, just a little data point for you here today. Beautiful. Now bringing your attention back to your breath. Every inhale, that belly is expanding outwards and sidewards. If your hand is still on your belly, you can go ahead and place one hand on your side as well. Inhaling, feeling that expansion taking place. And after that belly fills with breath, the breath moves up into your chest. And as you exhale, what would it feel like to release the chest first? Exhaling out from the chest and then releasing the belly last. So this, if you're new to breath work, this is a 4-part breath. Part 1, belly expands. Part 2, chest expands. Part 3, chest falls. Part 4, belly releases completely. You might notice or feel the breath moving you. Breath will naturally bring expansion into that torso, and then it'll release it. You got it. That's it. Keep breathing. Staying connected with your breath. I am willing to believe I am enough. Good. I can see torsos moving. I can see the breath creeping up on the inhale, and I can see it releasing and cascading down the torso on the exhale. You got it. Love is within me, and I share this love with others. Good. So right now you are consciously breathing, and this is the warm-up phase of a breathwork practice. We're going to add some layers here, so bit by bit. I invite you now to go ahead and continue inhaling through your nose, but release the breath out through your mouth. And when you do this, you're going to want to have an oval, wide open shaped mouth. You can even pair the HA sound, the sound, with that exhale. So when you're ready, inhale through the nose and then exhale through your mouth. Some clients think that this mimics a sigh. It's kind of like a sigh, but it's a little bit different, and that you're adding that HA sound, and it's more controlled. So you're slowly releasing the breath in a very controlled fashion, feeling that chest fall first, and then releasing the stomach last. That's it, you got it. And at any time, you're welcome to take your hands off of your body, or you can continue leaving them or moving them around. Your hands are to support you and bringing attention and intention to your breath. It supports you and where to direct your breath. Doing fantastic. You are willing to believe you are enough. Love is within you, and you share this love with others. We are willing to believe we are enough. Love is within us, and we share this love with others. And now just notice if you're inviting any pauses in between the inhale and the exhale. If so, can you eliminate any pauses, or we call these holds? We want to create a current or a flow with our breath, because breath is energy, and we can really work with that energy to influence a metabolizing of any stuck or held emotions we've been just holding on to throughout our entire lifetime. So inhaling through the nose and exhaling out through the mouth and right back into the inhale. This is called conscious connected breathing. When we remove any inhalations and exhalations, we are conscious connected breathing. So we're adding layers of intensity here. It's safe to stay. It's safe to be connected with your breath. If at any time you don't like how your body is feeling, return back to nasal inhales and exhales and slow your breath down. You are in control of your own session. As you do pick up the pace, you might begin to experience some sensations. So common sensations are tingles, or so as we mentioned, breath is energy. It's that life force energy. So as soon as you start bringing it into your body, you begin to feel these tingles, especially if our body is depleted of oxygen. Vibrations tend to be a little bit stronger, maybe a little more intense. Know that that's energy moving throughout your system. Energy is meant to move. Emotions are energy and motion. They vibrate, they move. So these are all good signs and signals that our body gives us. But like I said, if you feel comfortable, just return back to nasal inhalations and exhalations. You might even begin to feel your stomach rumble or growl. We are engaging the digestive system. The diaphragm is located there. You might feel a little lightheaded or dizzy as well. Once again, you're bringing oxygen or energy into the body. So with all of that being said, you're welcome to stay here at this level of intensity, but if you would prefer to engage with the next level, you're going to begin inhaling through the mouth and exhaling through the mouth. So taking that movement when you are ready. Beautiful. Breath still follows the same pattern. Belly still expanding on the inhale. Breath moving up to the chest next. As you exhale, chest is still falling. Stomach is falling last. You got it. Your pace may quicken now that you're bringing breath in and out of your mouth. That's normal and that's natural as well. I am willing to believe I am enough. Love is within me, and I share this love with others. That's it. You got it. You're looking fantastic. Knowing that it's safe to stay, safe to be connected with your breath. Allowing that breath just to fall out of the mouth naturally, refraining from any pursed lips. You are willing to believe you are enough. Love is within you, and you share this love with others. Good. Filling up that belly first. If at any point you feel any emotions, I invite you to continue to breathe. Sometimes when we begin to feel emotions, we want to stop breathing, we want to hold our breath, or we become really erratic in our breathing. But integration really lies in you breathing through it, you maintaining this type of breathing pattern at this pace. This is where we can metabolize that stuck or held emotion. Know that it's safe to breathe. It's safe to stay connected with your breath. We are willing to believe we are enough. Love is within us, and we share this love with others. Expanding the belly on the inhale. There you go. Yes. I am willing to believe I am enough. Love is within me, and I share this love with others. Good. Keep breathing. Breathing through, sticking with your breath. It's safe to stay. You got it. But remember, this is a self-consent practice. Always listening to your body as you breathe, as you stay present with your body, but then also allowing yourself to stay present with the breath flowing in and flowing out. This will be the last layer that we add to our practice today. On your next inhale, what would it feel like to envision the breath entering your heart center? So as you inhale, envision the breath coming in through your heart. Our heart is a powerhouse of an electromagnetic system and field that it offers. Our heart actually sends more signals to our body than our brain does. So as you inhale, envision that breath entering your heart. And as you bring that breath into your heart, envision it invoking or expanding heartfelt qualities such as love, such as compassion, understanding, or just a gentleness towards yourself. You are willing to believe you are enough. Love is within you, and you share this love with others. Keep breathing. We are willing to believe we are enough. Love is within us, and we share this love with others. Now, continuing to envision the breath enter your heart, Taking a few more breath cycles in and out of the mouth. When you feel ready, I invite you to transition back to inhaling through your nose and releasing out through your mouth. Even though your pattern of breathing changes, you're still envisioning that breath entering through your heart. It brings with it those heartfelt qualities like love, connection, a sense of belonging, sense of ease, peace, whatever it is, whatever you want, envision that heartfelt quality coming in through your heart by way of the breath, right here, right now. I am willing to believe I am enough. Love is within me, and I share this love with others. Good. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Belly expands first. Breath moves into the chest. That's it. You got it. You are willing to believe you are enough. Love is within you, and you share this love with others. Good. Breathing in. So now we're headed towards our cool down. When you're ready to transition back to nasal inhalations and nasal exhalations, go ahead and do that. And continue once again envisioning heartfelt qualities coming in through your heart. Envision your breath coming through your heart. Good. Staying connected with breath, adding the layer of the heart this session. In through the nose, out through the nose. As you return to nasal inhalations and exhalations, you might notice that your breathing pattern begins to slow, the pace, begins to slow. That's normal. That's what we want. We're headed back to that cool down. Pattern stays the same in that your belly is expanding at the start of the inhale, bringing expansion into the chest next. Exhaling, chest falls, stomach release last. You are willing to believe you are enough. Love is within you, and you share this love with others. Good. Everyone now breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. And if you've done any breath work with me before, you know that we always end in balancing breath. This restores balance to our nervous system. Today, you engaged with sympathetic, which is that stress, that fight or flight response. And that was purposeful. That's where we go for that integration in a very safe and controlled way. But then you also engaged with parasympathetic, which is that rest, that digest, that relaxation state. So we've kind of done a little bit of both. We've tapped into both portions of your nervous system. So we really want to bring balance to them. So when you're ready, I invite you to inhale for 4 to 6 seconds, and then you're going to take your exhale that's at the same length of your inhale. So if you inhale for 4, go ahead and exhale for 4. You inhale for 5, exhale for 5. Inhaling for 6, exhale for 6. Counting for yourself now as your breath creeps up your torso, and then counting as it cascades down. If you're an energy practitioner or know energy well, often at this time we can begin to feel our energy moving as we slow the breath down and we add that count. So just check in with your body. Can you feel any movement of energy taking place right now? Notice where it's taking place. And notice how it's moving. Notice the sensations accompanying it. I am willing to believe I am enough. Love is within me, and I share this love with others. Beautiful. So when you feel ready to bring your breathwork session to a close, I invite you to do so in the way that's most meaningful to you. This could look like taking a moment to spend in gratitude. It could look like stating a prayer. It could look like acknowledging yourself for trying this experience out tonight. So go ahead and take that movement now. And then check back in with your body. Notice your physical state of being. Notice what's feeling good in the body. Notice any subtle changes. Notice if that tension or tightness was there, that was there at the beginning. Notice if that's still there. And then notice your physical state, or excuse me, your emotional state of being. So just observe any emotions you're experiencing right here, right now. Take a moment to reflect on your mental state, so your thoughts. And remembering to check in, are those thoughts in the present, the past, or the future? And then last but not least, checking in with that state of spirituality. And at the start of your session, I had you rate your stress level on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most stressed, like full-blown panic attack, 1 being no stress at all, completely content, completely serene. Notice your level now. What would you rate your level now? And then if you want, when you're ready to put some movement back into the body, go ahead. Gentle movement, wiggling fingers, wiggling toes. You can move that to wrist rolls and ankle rolls, and then grow it to larger stretches, larger movements, and just feel, what does it feel like to be in your body after giving it intentional stillness and connection with breath? Breath works to decrease the inflammation, so notice if you received any of those benefits. When you do start moving and bringing that movement back into your body, if you want to share in the chat what your stress level was before your breathwork session and then what it is now, please go ahead and do so. Those are always fun to read. And if you are laying down, I just encourage you to roll to your side before coming back to seated position. give yourself a few cycles of breath, of conscious breath before before you sit straight up. And I'm going to return us back to our slideshow here, back to the presentation. So welcome back. I hope you found this experience to be enjoyable. As I mentioned, if you want to pop into the chat what your stress level was at the beginning of time and then what it was at the end, go ahead and do that. I just did this exact same mini session for corporate breath work, and it was virtual. So it was really cool. It's really one of the best part about this business, this profession, is changing people's lives, is seeing them feel better in just a few short minutes of engaging with their breath. And I had this corporate breathwork session. I had them rate their stress, what they were at the beginning before they breathed, and then what they were at the end. And everyone experienced a decrease. And they were just amazed. But watching them virtually, just their faces relax and their bodies melt, you could just tell the nervous system was down regulating at that time. So if you are considering this, know that that is one of the best perks of this profession, is just getting to be a guide and support others and watch their transformation and feeling good. So imagine experience this type of transformation at even a deeper level as you show up consistently in your own sessions and then supporting the community you serve with the powerful tool of the breath. So inside of Breathwork 614 certification programs, you will expand upon your embodiment and your knowledge to support others in the healing and their transformation journeys. Breathwork 614's certification programs, they are based upon 5 pillars that I'm going to walk you through now. And so these foundational pillars, they really serve as the heart of both of my certification programs, trauma-informed breathwork facilitator and then breathworker life coach. So trauma-informed breathwork facilitator, that is offered from August through November. We actually just wrapped that one last month, and students are already experiencing healing and well-being in themselves, but also in spreading it to the communities that they're serving. And so it's been really cool to witness that and to hear about it and see that and spreading that ripple of well-being. It's just, I don't know, it lights me up. It's so cool because, like I said, we deserve well-being is our birthright. Um, breathwork life coach, that is what I'm enrolling for now. That is offered from January through June. And the main difference between both of these is the first one, the facilitator, that is for those that are licensed professionals, such as psychologists, psychiatrists, social workers, licensed massage therapists, those that already have a basis of clients that just want to integrate breathwork practices. Whereas Breathworker Life Coach, this is where we really delve into those underpinnings, the imprintings and programmings of the subconscious. And learning, such as we did tonight, like how does separated at birth show up in my adult life? How does it prevent me from experiencing the life that I desire? So you'll learn about, let's see, there's 12 different birth types that you learn in this certification program. And you learn not only how it impacts their life, now the life that they're trying to create, but you'll become really good at reading people's subconscious, their cues, their body signals, so that you can guide them in experiencing something different. And I'll tell you, when we use our breath, we engage in the nervous system, clients get that lasting transformation. So our retention rate is really, really high. I've been in business in 5 years this summer, summer of 2026, and I still have clients that have been with me from the beginning, and they see me monthly. They go in what we call maintenance mode because it just gets better and it gets better and it gets better. You become so empowered to continue creating the life that you desire. So the first of the 5 pillars here is presence and space holding. So you're going to learn how to regulate your own nervous system and create a grounded energetic field that you can offer your community. And this is called co-regulation. A lot of times if we are in a helping or a serving profession, we give, and we have what we call energetic leaks, where we might take on or absorb other people's energy. And that is not healthy for us. That actually is very depleting. So the certification is designed to show you how to hold space effectively for your clients, also for yourself though, too. The second pillar here is awareness of trauma and safety. You will learn how to recognize trauma responses, such as what Dr. Amy was sharing in her video today. You'll learn how to respond in an informed way that embodies safety, sensitivity, respect, and also trust. The third pillar is comprised of understanding the nervous system. You will gain in-depth knowledge of the nervous system and how to activate and then also deactivate the sympathetic and the parasympathetic portions of the nervous system. And that's what you experience tonight during your breathwork session. You'll also learn the significance as why we would want to put someone in a sympathetic state versus a parasympathetic, and also when we would want to put someone in parasympathetic versus sympathetic. The fourth pillar you're going to see is the science of breath work. So you will take a deep dive into the evidence-based research of breath work being a powerful somatic tool for healing and transformation. And then the last pillar here is built upon responsibility and facilitation. So this pillar prepares you to navigate boundaries, dual relationships, ethical dilemmas, and moments of activation with professionalism and grace. Also embedded in the certification program is learning how to create a successful business plan, how to market, and then how, as I said before, to ensure that you retain clients. Business sustainability is of utmost priority to me, because when you're in business and you keep going, you keep spreading well-being to our globe. And that is why I'm in this. My mission is to support others in enhancing their quality of life with the power of the breath. So you are a byproduct of that, and your clients become a product of that as well. And so here, I have a testimonial I'm going to share with you. This is what it looks like when you step into fully embracing and embodying these pillars in the Breathworker Life Coach Certification Program. This is Emily, and she is a former student speaking about her experience.
At the beginning of this journey, I just remember feeling like I wasn't sure if I wanted to do it, and how overwhelming it felt, and it was a lot of fear and overwhelm and anxiety, and I didn't know if I was going to be able to fit all this in and make it work with my life and
your full-time job.
Yes, and working
kids.
And the kids and just being a single mom and just all the things, and how much I really just didn't want to do it, quite frankly. I was like, I just don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I want to do it anymore. And to now just be in a totally different place of like a different type of overwhelm, like just overwhelmed with like bliss and just the love that I feel for myself and God's love that I feel like I've received. It's just been such a transformation of the place of like despair, honestly, that I was in, to, not that there's not hard days, but it's like the ease and the rest and the flow of just being able to receive goodness again, and to feel like
that it's safe to receive that.
And like my being has been restored.
That's powerful. My being has been restored. Wow.
Is like, it's a miracle. It's a gift. It's a real
I can feel the gratitude.
Yeah. And you said like, what parts of you do you feel like are still there and stronger or brighter? And I feel like my creativity coming back and just my zest for life coming back, and even in things like just what I wear, like I can sense like a change in just wanting to get back to wearing different, like I used to be so confident and comfortable in, just wearing fun, colorful outfits, and I lost that for a while. And so even things like that coming back, like that just that part of me being, like, I never lost it, but just restoration to it.
Yeah.
And,
there's a vibrancy now about you, even right now, like as you're saying this, you can see it. Your skin is glowing, you're bright orange.
Yeah. My citrusy.
Yeah, and your nails. Yeah.
So yeah, like those parts that never left, but it was just
maybe dimmed.
Yeah.
What about in relationship to the fear? And like you spoke to, like you were in despair, but now it's like a bliss for life. But how is your relationship to fear? Like you might have walked in with a lot of fear, you know, in January 18th, 2025, and now here we are in July 19th, 2025. So how has that transformed in the 7 months?
I still experience fear. I would say it's like entirely gone, but it's not as gripping or controlling. It doesn't push me to have more of that gripping and controlling behavior and patterns. It's more just like this sense of ease and knowing like it's all going to work out. Like it's all going to work out the way that it's supposed to, and I don't have to overdo or, you know, manipulate situations to make sure that it's in control.
So how did you get to that point then? How do you get to it's all going to be okay? Like how do you
I think it's just a real, like we talked about, surrender to God and surrender to life and situations and trust, you know, in myself, but also in trust in God. And
to interact with that trust, you had to build safety within yourself, right? Yeah. And so what do you think was the game changer there that helped you build that safety?
I think a lot of like just self-acceptance, self-love, really a deeper connection. I've always had a connection with God, but just a deeper connection with God and just, you know, his, the belief of, you know, who I am in God, and the safety that I feel with him and with myself, and like just this partnership between myself and God, and the trust and self-acceptance and love that I have for myself. I don't know that I've ever had, like even prior to going through my divorce, like it was kind of the catalyst to this growth. I don't know that it was ever there. And so
continuing to riff off of that safety, what are some practices that you've put in play to create safety for your body, for your mind, right?
Of course, doing breathwork practices and just engaging with that throughout my day, you know, I even thought about just committing to maintaining my own personal sessions, you know, like just, I could have quit, I could have stopped doing that, I could have not went, but just maintaining, going to sessions and practicing, you know, the breathing techniques that I've learned, you know, not just here and there, but literally all day, every day throughout my day, and teaching my kids these techniques.
There you go. So I hear nervous system, nervous system drills, right? Nervous system expansion and regulation, but then embodiment is what I hear. Teaching your kids.
Yeah, and being able to like share it with other people and share it with my coworkers and share it with my boyfriend, and, you know, just and my family. A ripple
effect, like you're a catalyst, to healing.
You know, the forgiveness process was major for me, and the way that I felt that regulate my nervous system a lot, and even just the body practices that I've learned, you know, like butterfly touch, and just different techniques to like regulate my own nervous system, and has really transformed my relationship with myself. It's not so much like all this head stuff, it's like just this full embodiment. I remember the first time I had a session, that's what I said, was like, this is a total mind, body, spirit, emotion, soul, you know, experience.
That, like feeling it to your core is what I hear you saying, right? So if you don't mind continuing to be vulnerable, at the end of that reflection, I asked you to share a commitment to yourself and moving forward in your journey of becoming, right? Do you mind sharing what you are committed to?
Yeah. I think, like, in its simplest form, is just love for myself, self-acceptance, the love and ease and rest that I receive from God, those are just like my non-negotiables, like just staying true to the love and acceptance that I've learned to have for myself, and curiosity towards myself.
Beautiful.
and that being an extension of like love and acceptance and curiosity to others as well. Like that flow is just,
I love it. You're like we couldn't have planned this better. You're hitting on Breathwork 614's core values right now, which I taught you at the beginning of time. Yeah. But go, girl,
but
go.
It just is like that creates so much ease, like ease, you know, towards myself, but also ease towards life and other people and relationships. And yeah. So when I allow that to come into my own life and towards myself and from God, it then overflows into my life and other people's lives. And I think that is really the bottom line of like what's non-negotiable for me is like the thing that makes me feel grounded, or like simple when I feel overwhelmed, you know, that's what I can come back to, is just love and acceptance of myself, rest and peace and trust, surrender to God, and letting that flow into my life, into the people that are in my life and the circumstances that are in my life. So yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's conscious living. There's aliveness, so much aliveness like flowing from you right now. Wow. Thank you. Thank you.
So, as you can see from Emily, she spoke about a forgiveness process. In the certification, you will participate in the forgiveness process. We are often so hard on ourselves, so critical. We judge, we participate in self-sabotage, and it's just a lot of resistance towards ourselves. So within certification, you will participate in the forgiveness process to experience that full acceptance, that love and self-acceptance that she was sharing for herself. And that's a game changer. And then to share that with clients, with others, that really transforms people's lives. So by the end of this breathwork life coach certification, you will be equipped to guide others through deep healing and lasting transformation with safety, with integrity, and with compassion. You will learn to adapt breathing techniques for various emotional states and respond skillfully to clients' needs using trauma-aware tools and practices. By identifying trauma responses and emotional imprints as your very own embodiment journey unfolds, you will become equipped to serve and guide others. You can sit on the other side and say, I get where you're coming from. Hey, I experience this too. I know what that's like. And that becomes empowering for you, but then also supportive to your clients. You will master the art of space holding, as I said before, and energetic presence, creating a safe container for clients to explore, to express, and heal through breath. You will understand how to track and regulate the nervous system, both in yourself, but then also in your clients, using additional applied knowledge such as the polyvagal theory, or PNI, which stands for psychoneuroimmunology, and then also somatic experiencing. So with clarity and confidence, you will be supported in crafting a mission statement, like setting ethical standards, and then also creating structure around your offerings so that you can receive client retention and business sustainability, such as I said before. So you can get most of your, I would say all of your questions really answered on my website, and you'll see the link up there. So I highly recommend you visiting www.breathwork614.com/BW Life Coach. That's also where you can enroll. I am accredited with GAFI, which stands for Global Academy for Energetic Education. And that's really nice because it's a small business as well. So the owner, Lucy Mills, she offers in-house financing, so you can develop your own payment plan, whatever works best with you. I already have students enrolled in here, and they've already started their payment plan. They're already paying towards this so that they're done with tuition by the end of certification, by the end of June when we end. Also on the website, you're going to see a list of all the dates that we meet. We meet Friday evenings from 6 to 8:30, Saturdays and Sundays from 8:30 to 5:30. We break for about an hour for lunch. We do meet in downtown Dublin in the Bridge Park area at Brickhouse Blue, and it's just a beautiful location. There's lots of snacks and yummy drinks always available there, lots of restaurants around that we can pop out to for lunch. We even have a balcony that sometimes we breathe on as well. So it's really cool because those that you're in certification with, they become your lifelong friends because you go through such a deep level of healing and transformation together that why wouldn't you want to stay friends with these people? And then finally, your birth story, it didn't end the day you were born. It's still unfolding. And as you can see, it's never too late to rewrite it. So I look forward to seeing you during our next session, which explores the imprints of forceps. So this series includes some of the most common patterns that I see showing up in clients' lives, and also students' lives. And I chose these because these are the ones that, like I said, that are not only common, but prevent people from creating that life that they desire. So I will see you in the new year on January 11th to learn how to transform patterns that you desire to transform with breath work. I hope all of you have a beautiful holiday and a happy new year. And I can't wait to see you in 2026. Thank you.